Welcome to the discussion on sustainability in the carpet industry for women in government. Thank you all for being here and for taking the time to listen. We have some great panelists. My name is Jenn Stowe. I'm the Vice President of Government Relations with the Carpet and Rug Institute. CRI is the trade association that represents the carpet manufacturers. We serve as the leading industry source for science-based information and insight on how carpet makes a better environment for living, working, education, healthcare, and healing. And our organization has 56 members, many of whom are members that are carpet manufacturers and other businesses that are important to our industry. What many of you may not know is that 95% of the soft floor covering you walk on is made in the United States, and it's a fact that we're very proud of. Of that 95%, a very high percentage is made in Dalton, Georgia, which is about 90 miles northwest of Atlanta. And we're proud to be a Made in America product. Before I introduce the panelists, some of you might be curious about who this woman behind me is. Her name is Catherine Evans Whitener, and she is the founder of the tufted textile industry. So it seems only appropriate that since a woman founded the industry, we have three women that are experts in sustainability at their companies to share with us today. And our panelists are, in alphabetical order, Kellie Ballew, who's the Vice President of Global Sustainability and Innovation for Shaw Industries Group, Inc. We have Sarah Robinson Enaharo, who's the Director of Global Sustainability for Milliken and Company. And we have Malisa Maynard, who is the Vice President of Sustainability for Mohawk Industries, Inc. You can find the bios for our panelists on the website. They'll be listed there, and we'd like to use the time to get right into the content. So we're going to dive right in. I'm going to give you just a little bit of a 30,000-foot overview of the industry's commitment to sustainability generally. The carpet industry has long been committed to creating sustainable and beautiful products for people in their homes, for hospitals, for schools, and for other healthcare settings and commercial settings as well. And we continue to innovate to minimize the environmental impact of carpet products and manufacturing. The carpet industry takes a holistic approach to sustainability that's responsible, proactive, and seeks to balance various stakeholder needs and interests. As you'll learn today, carpet manufacturers focus on reducing water and energy use, strive to create zero waste, incorporate recycled content in new carpet products, and recycle carpet to reduce the amount of discarded carpet that goes into landfills. In fact, since 2002, carpet manufacturers have invested in creating a carpet recycling industry that has diverted over 5 billion, that's billion with a B, pounds of carpet from landfill. Much of this work is done through the Carpet America Recovery Effort, or CARE, an organization started by the carpet industry in 2002 to advance market-based solutions that increase landfill diversion and recycling of post-consumer carpet. So with that kind of 30,000-foot overview, I'm going to dig into the questions, and I'd love to hear from each of you about what your company's commitments to sustainability are. And Kellie, I'm going to go alphabetically to start. So Kellie, let's start with you. Can you talk a little bit about Shaw and its commitment to sustainability?
Thank you so much, Jenn. Of course I can. That's my my daily life at this company. And at Shaw, actually, our sustainability strategy is called Sustain Human Ability. That's actually what we've trademarked to really refer to our program, which really reflects on our focus of putting people at the heart of our efforts, literally, figuratively. And while we've been focused on, you mentioned resources, energy, and water, we've been focused on those since our founding more than 50 years ago. It's really true that our sustainability journey really began about 20 years ago with the invention of and introduction of our EcoWorks carpet tile product about 20 years ago, back in 1999. That product for us was our design with intention, design with the end in mind. It's really designed to be made out of safe ingredients that can be recycled back into more EcoWorks tile at the end of its life on the floor. And EcoWorks for us became our first product to go through the Cradle to Cradle product certification program. And it was not only the first flooring product of any type in the world to go through that certification, it was really the any type, not just flooring. And really for Shaw, using those cradle to cradle design principles lets us take that holistic approach that you were talking about, that high level view of all the things that are critical to us and our values, as well as our stakeholders and our customers around protecting people and protecting the planet. And so that's really 5 categories of focus for us. The first of those is material health. I mentioned it already, those safe ingredients. That's really looking at the chemistry of the ingredients that go into our products. And then we have product circularity, which is sort of today's definition of using those recycled materials and designing for recyclability at the end of a product's life. Then we have clean air and climate protection, which is about using clean renewable energy and designing products with low carbon footprints. We have water and soil stewardship, which is around natural resource protection, both water and those that would impact soil and the ecosystems around our manufacturing facilities. And then lastly, and certainly not leastly, is social fairness, which is really how are people treated throughout that entire cycle, whether that's in our supply chain, whether that's in our own operations, and all the way through the entire value chain. And so what began with just one product 20 years ago now permeates who Shaw is and how Shaw presents itself in the marketplace, both in our product development efforts, our operational efforts. So really sustainability is not just a separate thing. It's really part of who we are, everything we do. And in fact, I'm really proud to say that here we are 20 plus years later, and now 90% of the products we manufacture have achieved that same cradle to cradle certification. So it's not just, the one thing we do, it is really who we are.
Well, that is impressive. And I know that our other panelists are going to have similar stories to tell, but I'm going to let them tell them. So Sarah, we'll go right on to you, continuing with my alphabetic system here.
Absolutely. So we've been a steward of the environment for more than 100 years. Milliken and Company was founded in 1865 and actually a general store in Maine. And today we have a global company with 4 divisions that include textile, chemical, healthcare, and then floor covering. One of the most interesting things about Milliken is that 50 times a day you can come into contact with a Milliken product. That includes duct tape to make it strong and tearable, detergents, sponges, bowling balls to make them colorful, including children's paints and markers to make them washable, also sports gear, shoes and uniforms to reduce odor and improve comfort, and truly the list goes on. The first recycling policy was actually documented in 1900, and it was actually this year that we began reusing packaging and textile materials in our operations. Soon after, around 1912, we actually began utilizing hydroelectric energy to power the textile plant. We installed a wastewater treatment system back in 1962, and that was actually prior to the establishment of the EPA. And we were the first carpet manufacturer to use landfill methane gas as an energy source. So over these last couple of years, we've really been busy advancing sustainability and reducing our carbon footprint. And we're doing this in a couple different ways. One, we've launched Impact. All of our carpet tiles, LVT and inch-array tiles, are carbon neutral globally. Also increasing our use of renewable energy. Earlier this year, we actually had solar panels. Solar panels were installed at our Australia plant. Another item I'm really excited about, our pathway to reduce our carbon footprint has been approved by Science-Based Targets Initiative, or SBTI. If you're not familiar, it's actually a partnership between the Carbon Disclosure Project, the UN Global Compact, which I'm sure quite a few are aware of, World Resources Institute, and the Worldwide Fund for Nature. And SBTI defines and promotes best practice in emission reductions and net zero targets in line with climate science. They bring together a team of experts to provide companies with independent assessments and validation of targets. So we were the first flooring manufacturer to have near and long-term goals validated and one of the first 50 companies globally. These are targets for actual reduction of all of our operations to become net zero by year 2050.
Wow. It's so great to hear how committed each of the companies are. And I know that Milliken is a little more far reaching than just floor covering, but
Yes.
it's really encouraging. So Malisa, can you please share a little bit about Mohawk's commitment?
Absolutely. So at Mohawk, innovation has always defined our business through industry changing products to processes that we continue to refine and develop. And I share that because innovation is also the driving force behind our environmental, social, and governance strategy, which is focused on creating a better tomorrow for both people and the planet. We believe that our future depends on the work that we do today, and we take this very seriously by challenging ourselves to do and be better every day. Our innovation pillars for the planet are dedicated to a climate positive future, water restoration, product circularity, and responsible sourcing. Our people pillars are focused on high performance through an inclusive environment with team members with diverse backgrounds and experiences, a zero harm workplace through robust safety programs, and a deep connection to the communities by supporting where our employees live and work. We take a holistic perspective with our ESG policies and our leadership approach to ensure that our many goals and initiatives are really deeply rooted within each of our businesses.
Great. Well, thank you each for sharing that overview. I really appreciate it. I want to dive a little bit more into the a little bit more deeply into the recycled content and recyclability of carpet. I'm not sure that many folks understand how difficult it is to recycle carpet. There's no simple one size fits all solution. It's not like recycling paper or plastic or aluminum. It's made from a lot of different materials that are bound together in different ways, making it complicated to deconstruct, sort, and process. And carpet also presents unique challenges to recycling because of the bulk and its size. So we're continuing to invest in both technology and to further develop a market that will make even broader adoption of carpet recycling possible. The industry's resolve in this challenging endeavor is strong, as is our dedication to the environment and environmental stewardship generally. The industry is voluntarily seeking to divert carpet from landfills and looking for market-driven industry innovation. So our members are continually making progress on this front. Could each of you share a bit about what you're doing? And this time I'm going to start off a little bit differently. We're going to go with Malisa. Malisa, will you start off and share a little bit about what your companies are doing to kind of make progress on this front?
Sure. So at Mohawk, as I mentioned earlier, we believe innovation is core to making more sustainable products. We work to innovate regenerative products through thoughtful design and efficient manufacturing that optimizes material use and expands post-consumer and sustainable content. We believe that front-end innovations like dematerialization and enhanced durability for extended product life is fundamentally the key to keeping materials out of landfills. Additionally, we employ a zero system waste framework, including renewable energy use to minimize our product's full life cycle impact. We also believe that we must create healthy environments where product life is extended through superior product performance and durability. And lastly, we educate end users about post-life cycle options for reducing environmental impact. Through our Recover program, we reclaim materials for a second and subsequent purpose through market-based solutions after an initial useful life.
That's great. Kellie, you want to talk a little bit about what Shaw is doing?
Sure, happy to, Jenn. Actually, I mentioned it also. Shaw's cradle-to-cradle design principles is what guides our efforts here around specifically recycling or the use of recycled content. Our commitment, our public commitment, is to fuel the circular economy with those safe, sustainable, cradle-to-cradle inspired products. That's our promise statement that really communicates that value, which lets us focus both on the use of recycled content in that innovative design of products today, and then design products to be able to be recycled at the end of their useful life on the floor. So it's on the front and the back end for sure. And as part of those efforts, Shaw has turned tens of billions of pounds of recycled plastic bottles into myriad flooring products. So we take waste and turn it into flooring products. And that would include our residential carpet fiber products, commercial carpet backings, where the color of the fiber is a little more challenging, and you can use those less valuable materials there. And then we have a brand new hybrid category flooring product. We've called it Reworks to represent that it's, its second time through the economy, which is really an example of a hard surface and soft surface hybrid product, lives really in that space between those two. And so many examples that we've developed using this cradle to cradle approach. And so for us, let's just talk about turning, bottles into fiber. That's on average, 2.5 billion plastic bottles in just 2021 alone. And we've also, part of that metric that you gave earlier, as an industry, Shaw alone has recycled almost 1 billion pounds of carpet since 2006. And we know that we cannot just focus on recycling and recycled content alone, because sustainability attributes of products are interconnected. And so I'm going to give 2 other examples of really other things to consider beyond just recycling, which is our focus here at Shaw on material health, which really makes sure that the materials that we're using in products are focused on health and well-being in their first life, so that they earn that seat for that second life, right? So you don't want to make products out of things that you don't want circulating. And then Malisa mentioned it as well, which is the use of recycled content as a means to lower the carbon impact of products. That's a critical focus for us at Shaw, because virgin raw materials carry a very heavy carbon burden. And so when you can use those sources of recycled content, you can dramatically improve not only your recycling story, your recycled content, but you can also positively impact and reduce your carbon footprint.
Awesome. So Sarah, we're going to let you wrap up this question.
Absolutely. I'm going to piggyback off of both of them. Recycled content, definitely a focus for us. We were actually one of the first investors in recycled yarn, and to launch a product with Aquafil back in 2009. And since then, we've really been working on our pathway to increase our design styles and collections. Also dematerialization, like Malisa mentioned. Our deluxe series of carpets uses innovative yarn and tufting technology to deliver the same texture and aesthetics with less raw materials. And that's really important as we're looking at natural resources. We also leverage our global manufacturing and local supply chains to minimize carbon emissions by sourcing materials locally when possible and manufacturing their customers to reduce shipping distances. I'll also share something that is more Milliken corporate, but as a company, we continue to invest in cutting edge technologies. As we're all aware, and Kellie mentioned this too, each year we're using more and more materials, and most of it ends up in the landfill. And so to change that, we really need to move towards a circular economy where products are designed differently, resources are viewed differently by consumers, and we really need to shift towards a reuse and recycling mindset. Milliken actually invested in Cirque, which is a circular fashion company that has raised over 30 million. And so Cirque developed this revolutionary technology system that returns the clothes to the raw materials from which they were made. One thing great about Milliken is that our R&D work together. And so when we get new technology, we definitely see how we can all use it across divisions.
That's great. It's so exciting to hear all the different things that are going on, and that sustainability is so much more than just recycling. There are so many different aspects that are involved with it. So thank you for sharing that. There is so much great work taking place. And as you all know, carpet manufacturing is an important American industry that provides valuable revenue and jobs in communities throughout the country. Hundreds of thousands of American households thrive and prosper because of the U.S. carpet industry. And carpet manufacturers employ tens of thousands of people in the United States. The carpet industry creates a chain, and some of you have mentioned this with regard to the carbon footprint, but shipping, distribution, installation, retail sales, recycling, which employ thousands more. So to that end, I'm interested to learn more about industry innovation within sustainability, such as new sustainable carpet products. And I know each of you have kind of touched on that, and or manufacturing practices. And can you tell us more about what your companies are doing in this space? And this time we're going to start with Sarah.
So more about what we're doing in space around sustainable products. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. We are always just staying abreast of what's going on in the market and the market needs. Right now, of course, carbon is a huge focus. So we're really working cross functions to see how we can lower embodied carbon. That, of course, goes into what we're doing at our plant level, looking at renewable energy, looking at more recycled content, not just yarn, but also bio-based materials. It really takes a certain team effort and collaboration across all of our functions to really rethink the way that we are making our products.
Great. Thank you. Malisa, how about you? And
Sure. So we've mentioned so many different ways that we are looking at improving in sustainability. And when I look specifically at the products, it's really the focus of product circularity. And that really starts how we actually design the products, what materials that they're made with, and looking to how do our customers use the products, and how can we help make them last longer, and that they fit the needs of the customer so that they're not replacing the flooring faster than what they need to. And so when I think of all of the products that Mohawk makes across the globe, we have carpet, we have vinyl, we have ceramic tile, we have wooden laminate. So we have just a multitude of different flooring products that we make. And I get the question a lot of times, like, what is the most sustainable product? And my answer would always be, I love all of our products, and we're really want to find a product that works best for the customer so that it's going to last and perform and be the product that they're really wanting in their home or business. And so I would say every single product that we have at Mohawk, we really are looking at how can we optimize product circularity. And there's so many success stories within the business that it seems a little bit unfair to pick, one or two of them to talk through. But I would just say every day, every year, as we look at the portfolio that we have, we continue to drive sustainability, optimize circularity, and strengthen the products that we have to continue to get towards that, net zero goal, and making sure that we really get the products that our customers are needing.
Great. Thank you. And Kellie, I'm going to let you wrap up this question.
Okay, great, Jenn. Thank you so much. And so I agree from a portfolio standpoint that Shaw's approach as well, that we don't just have the one or two sustainable products. It is really a holistic approach to product design and product development. And so I mentioned the statistic already, 90% of the products that we manufacture have undergone cradle to cradle certification. And so for us, that is really our guiding light on that. But I will call out two that I think are really interesting this year. And one is, I've already mentioned it, Reworks, which is that hybrid product that uses significant sources of recycled content. And in this case, it comes from single-use plastic bottles, but each square yard of Reworks contains about 61 plastic bottles. And so the impact of that is really showing up in the embodied carbon footprint of that product, helping our customers lower the embodied carbon of the spaces they design. In the past year, we also launched a new fiber system called EcoSolution Q100. As you know, Shaw is vertically integrated in fiber manufacturing, one of the largest fiber manufacturers in the world. And we actually recognize the need for higher recycled content in our own fiber systems to be able to provide low carbon carpet solutions. So we launched a commercial nylon fiber this past year across multiple product platforms. So it's really the fiber that supports multiple carpet platforms. And I lead our innovation group too. So I'm very fortunate that I can wear my sustainability hat and my innovation hat at the same time, representing the topics internally, because they're not separable. You can't have sustainability without innovation, and you can't have true innovation that's not sustainable. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity as a leader inside Shaw to really not just try to separate sustainability from our other innovation efforts. But I will leave my proudest achievement this past year was really actually achieving Cradle to Cradle version 4. And if you don't know what version 4 is, it is really the most rigorous version of the new Cradle to Cradle standard. It went through a major overhaul, and we achieved silver with our EcoWorks product. And so far, we are still the only product in the built environment to have achieved V4. V4 at the silver level, we're still the only product in that level of achievement, and the only product manufactured in the US to have achieved that as well. So for us, that was quite the challenge, was to meet that new level of rigor of that program.
Well, it sounds like all of you have made some real great advancements, and we've had some great news shared. But I want to talk about what kind of challenges you're seeing. What are some of the challenges that each of your companies are facing with regard to within the sustainability sector? Because you've got lots of great news, but I know that none of those accomplishments are happening without some challenges. So can you share a little bit about what the challenges might be? We'll start with Malisa this time.
All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about sustainability and what it means to every individual out there. And it's so personal, and everybody has this different perspective of what it means to them. And so that's true to our customers as well. So when we talk about what is the right sustainability certification, there's so many of them out there. The terms and definitions that are out there, again, such a multitude of definitions. And so sometimes I would think it's like sustainability overload, and what is the right product to buy? What's the most sustainable? How do I understand all of these acronyms and standards and certifications? And so there's a lot of information, and people want to make the right decision, but how do they do that with all of these varying definitions and terms? And so the area that I want to focus on a little bit with this group, because we're talking to legislatures, is regulation. And so Mohawk, we're a global company, and we must meet regulations and standards from countries all across the world. And today we have regulations, we have draft regulations, and they're all coming into response to how do we regulate or provide this collective framework so that we can continue to improve our future. But what it also has done is it's introduced different standards, different definitions, and we're working across a multitude of framework to share information to show all of the good work that we're doing in the area of environmental, social, and governance. And if we listen to the great work that Shaw's done, the great work that Milliken's done, the industry's doing really great things. And the challenge that I have to do is I have to find a balance between doing that exciting work that's really driving sustainability improvements, but also balancing the resources that are now starting to be required to meet the increase in all of these reporting requirements. And so I think there's a balance, but really trying to wade through all of the regulations, the standards, the certifications to ensure that we're focused on the work that's going to drive sustainability and make us, all in a better position for the future.
Thanks. Kellie, you want to talk about some of the challenges you all are facing at Shaw?
Absolutely. And none of this good work comes without those challenges. That is just that's the work. That's the hard part every day. And for Shaw, it's really in our vast supply chain. It's the vastness of the opportunities to educate suppliers about our expectations. And, they expect that says, We want to talk about service. We want to talk about performance. We want to talk about price. We want to talk about those traditional metrics, but to have those clear expectations around disclosing and participating in the programs, all the myriad things that we need the suppliers to be along for the ride with us and on board with us and supporting us has been a new landscape in the last, 5, 10, 15 years or so. I will also say another tie to supply chain is really reverse logistics. For example, is the person we sold that flooring to the person who's still occupying the space or still owning the home or whatever when it's time to recycle that material? And the answer is probably not. Probably not, because you mentioned durability, Malisa. The carpet outlasts, multiple users. And so it's about connecting with and establishing partners all along that value chain. That's a huge challenge and just a huge connection point of opportunity. And then lastly, I'll mention the overall challenge, which is the complexity that Malisa mentioned. There are a multitude of sustainability attributes and preferences, and it probably started out as environmentalism that people really had a sensitivity about. The word even evolved to just being sustainability. And now it's maybe even there's another stage in there where it went to CSR for corporate social responsibility. Now we're talking ESG and environmental, social, and governance. And there's another corporate political responsibility. There's so many aspects of sustainability to represent this work. The complexity actually comes from about 20 or more issues that fall under our sustainability umbrella when it comes from a materiality assessment standpoint. So if you look at how we even ask our stakeholders those questions, there's about 20 categories of topics, and then to prioritize your efforts, to have your stakeholders clearly articulate to you what's important to them. I've been in this field a very, very long time, and I don't think I always cringe a little when people ask me to simplify this complexity. And I don't think it's possible to simplify the complexity that is sustainability. I actually think we should all work on our language there and talk about shared clarity, because the complexity is not going away. Those 20 market expectations around sustainability are not going to go away, but it is, our challenge is to help people gain clarity and help them align their values with their purchases.
Well, thanks, Kellie. When you were talking about durability, it reminded me of something I heard early on when I started in the industry, that carpet doesn't really wear out, it just uglies out. And so you're right. It's probably not the same person getting rid of it that purchased it. And Sarah, I'm going to let you wrap up with the challenges that you're seeing.
Absolutely. So one thing I'm proud of, for 16 years, we've been named one of the world's most ethical companies by Ethisphere. And they're a leader in defining and advancing the standard of ethical business practices. With that said, we offer full material transparency, very similar to what Kellie's been talking about. And so we ensure that all of our carpet in the Americas, Asia, Australia, as well as a portion of Europe, are red list free. The overarching idea, if you're not aware of transparency, is that a user should be able to look up the ingredients of a building material, much like label ingredients in the food that we eat. But to address human health, some programs, like Kellie mentioned, with Cradle to Cradle, or third-party certifications, communicate the known hazards associated with those ingredients. Another one being the Living Building Challenge, or the International Living Future Institute. They have a red list free status, which indicates that a product contains none of the harmful chemicals listed on this list. Well, over the years, we've prioritized knowing our suppliers, getting to know their suppliers and their suppliers, because we disclose 100% of our ingredients. So here's the challenge, and Kellie, we're in the same boat here: maintaining full material transparency, especially red list free status, with supply chain challenges and constant changes.
Well, it sounds like you're all facing similar challenges. We have just a little bit more time left, and I want to wrap it up. I know we've talked about innovation, but I want to talk about the future. What are the opportunities that you see for the carpet industry in terms of sustainability? What are some of the opportunities you see? And Sarah, we're going to start right off with you.
Sure. And we've all said it, circularity, but I'll definitely be more specific, building materials reuse. I was actually at Green Build last week, and it was great to see the collaboration across public and private sectors. There was a theme of reuse, recover, and recycle. And one example, the city of San Francisco plans to create a policy framework by 2025 to expand and cultivate regional building material reuse markets that support workforce development, small business enterprises, and entrepreneurial innovation. They also plan to amend existing policies to require deconstruction of buildings. I also didn't realize that Portland actually has the first deconstruction policy. So similar to what we've seen in recycling, we need the same network of suppliers and receivers, inventory asset management, which I'm starting to see platforms like BExchange or Reaply, these marketplaces for building materials. So I see a lot of opportunity, not just for carpet and flooring, but for building products in general.
Great. And Malisa, you want to piggyback off of that?
Absolutely. It's been really great to hear all of the work that collectively we're doing as an industry. And we're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And so as individual companies, we're continuing to strive in all areas of our business, and sustainability is one of the key focus areas. And collectively, talking to you through CRI, the CARE efforts, there are a lot of opportunities to find new solutions to reuse material and optimize that circularity within the products that we make, and really focusing on that economic, socially, and environmentally sustainable for all of the many stakeholders that we have. But with that said, no one person, business, or industry can successfully lead the transition to a sustainable, inclusive, climate positive economy alone. And we look to our many stakeholders, our customers, our employees, as we mentioned earlier, our suppliers, our investors, and our communities to work together to find new ideas and solutions to create a regenerative future for everyone. And so this is that collective journey, and we really believe that we can achieve it together. And so I think it's going to continue to be exciting to hear the progress and the new ideas that come in the future ahead.
Great. And Kellie, I'm going to leave it to you to wrap up.
Okay, I hope I don't disappoint here. Well,
Big finish.
Big finish. When I look at the future, I'm always really excited, but I also have to be very proud. When I travel a lot for work, I attend conferences, I speak at conferences, I speak on behalf of our industry and our company, and there is so much impressive and inspirational work that's being done. So I just want to lift us all up in this moment as we are speaking to this audience. I would just like to say it's really, when you go to those places and you talk to other people and you talk about the flooring industry and they get the wow factor of the things we do, and I would say how ahead the flooring industry actually is, we're really the front runners in that built environment for sustainability, living through delivering products to the marketplace. So I know there's always much more to be done. That's what makes me get up every day and come and fight the good fight, that there's all this great work we have done, but there is so much more to do. And it really is with a great sense of urgency. I'm frequently just reminded that we don't have enough time. And I put that sense of urgency in my teams. With the work we're doing, it just has to start to come faster. As for an overall opportunity, this is probably just my own lens of life that I look at, having been in manufacturing for 27 years now, is really just, we need new materials. We need novel materials. We need the paradigm shift about what materials can be used to make flooring products. And so that's really where the future is, in my mind, is just really rethinking, what does flooring look like? What is flooring made of? How is it designed to last on your floor? Where does it go when it comes off the floor at the end of its life? What was that carbon burden when you bought it? It's all of those things in consideration when you make those purchasing decisions.
Well, thank you all for taking the time and sharing your expertise. We've heard so much good news about what's happening in the industry as it relates to sustainability and not just as it relates to recycling. But I appreciate you all taking the time. Each of your email addresses is also included in the bio in case anyone has any follow-up questions that they'd like to follow up with you individually. So that contact information is available to the legislators who are watching this or any of the public who might be watching this. And I can't say enough how committed our industry is to sustainability. These are only 3 of our 56 members, and they're all working so hard on every aspect of sustainability. And we're very proud of that. And we thank you all for being here and sharing your expertise. Have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.